kind of having to compose myself. I usually don't compose myself that much, but I have to compose myself. Anyway, hey there, Heather. Hello, there's Jeff Cutter Diamond, aka Cutter Historical, with this live stream. It's not like a subscribers live stream that I'm unpacking some cards for you, or basically just talking about a sports moment and all that. But um, today, August 29th, has been one of the hardest days for me in my life since my dad died. Ironically, today, August 29th, it's 5.5 years to the day that my dad died because, like it or not, he died on February 29th, 2020. 2020 was a leap year because I know that because every leap year is a Summer Olympics / Euro for soccer. I said, and of course, there are leap years every 4 years. But yeah, it's been 5.5 years to the day that my dad passed away and all that. So, February 29th, 2020, and now it's August 29th, 2025. I was delayed in this live stream because I was supposed to do it at 4 o'clock and then at 4:15, but I was talking to my mom for about 40 minutes. But it was a nice time to talk with her and all that. And as she said, that when she talks to an adult, she forgets how much she talks. But I try to listen and I try to talk too. So we got that going. And August 29th was my mom and dad's wedding anniversary because they were married in 1981. So it's been 44 years since they were married. Well, it would be if dad was still around. But of course, my dad died 5+ years ago at age 73. The reason why I'm live streaming today, in a sense, is not to tell you guys, oh, it's been 5.5 years since my dad died, or oh, it's my mom and dad's wedding anniversary, and my dad's up in heaven and all that. But to tell you that one of the most shocking moments of my life happened last night. It was a calm, serene Thursday night, and then at 10 o'clock Eastern time, I have to say that the time zone, because there will be probably some Cutter Historical fans that are not in the Eastern time zone, like yours truly is. So basically what ended up happening was that I was there, and then I noticed my phone barging, and then there's a text, and it came from my former warehouse manager, Aaron, who moved to be a seasonal manager and now is in Ganawakwe. I can never pronounce that place right. Ganawakwe, Ganaoque, or whatever it's pronounced. The fact of the matter is that, so I pick up the phone, and at 10 o'clock at night, and then Aaron texted me, said something about one of my coworkers. I'll just open my phone and give you the message. It says August 28th. It said at 10:06. It said, "Hey Jeff, before you hear tomorrow at work, Eric Markin passed away today. That's why he missed a shift today." But he said shit, which is like, what? Aaron. And I'm like, oh man, I should have called him out saying, "Is what?" It says shift. And I said, holy, you know what? I said, going to be in tears tomorrow. I said, sorry, Jeff, thought you would like to know before work. Well, unbeknownst to me, that there was a Facebook or some kind of group chat to do with Canadian Tire women and all that of 674. And my former co-worker, Rose Soenga, does this thing. And she's posting about, Eric dying and all that. All of them pretty much knew, in a sense. I was close to being the last one to know, but it was 10 p.m. at night. And then, of course, I wake up at 6 o'clock and 6:30 scrambling to get ready because I overslept, in a sense. But then, my Gmail, and then they sent the message through time well scheduled about Eric dying at 5:15 a.m. And now everyone's going to know, because I just didn't know how many people knew and all that. I try to start some Facebook chats with a few of my fellow Canadian Tire workers who worked at 674, and we're on Facebook, and it was just like, what? It's just, yeah, like like this morning was just ashen faced. A lot of us were ashen faced and all that, and just like just crying in each other's arms and all that, and like remembering him, and like you know we had a few former employees come visit us and all that, so that was just fun. But the fact of the matter is that yeah, Eric was just a great guy and all that, and so you know it was just one heck of a it's just been one heck of a whirlwind and all that. There's a lot of emotions with me right now, like genuine sadness and all that. I was emotionally broken for until I went to bed last night, and then took about 10 minutes of sniffling in my sleep, and then I went to sleep and all that. I slept okay, but it's because I take sleep medication to deal with sleep problems. But nevertheless, I was like, tomorrow's going to be hard. And doing an 1,800 cube truck with only 3 people, it's not that easy and all that. But I managed to pull through and do my chores and do my duties. Oh well, and I didn't really break down and all that. I kept it together more than I thought I would. But like, it's just been one of the harshest moments. And there's a lot of emotion with a lot of people. Like, a lot of us are feeling grief, guilt, and partial anger and partial disappointment because we didn't get the we didn't get well, some of us didn't get much emotional support that we were hoping for. But then again, I mean, I think that people are busy and all that, and they have their own problems to deal with, and that's understandable. But the fact of the matter is that I'm sure that everything will be okay. And of course, a lot of information will be passed along and all that. So, like, Eric and all that, it's just one shocking moment. Because, like, I'll show you the picture and all that. Get my stuff. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. So, like, picture and all that. So that's Eric. That was Eric, like in a fantastic moment with a bird and all that. I think this was this year or a couple of years ago. I can't remember. Like, I did the post with like put Angel by Sarah McLaughlin in the background, like in the arms of the angel. But obviously, I don't want YouTube to get ticked off at me. So yeah, so that's just Eric. Jesus. So it's just so sad and all that, like it's gonna hurt and all that, because like a lot of my fellow coworkers are like, we were closely knit and all that. And of course, this was the pre Joe M era. It was the Joe C era and all that. But great. I brought my Kleenexes to work, but I forgot to take my box of Kleenexes back. Shit. Sorry about that. It's just like really hard to deal with right now because of the fact that it, yeah, it's like shocking, because numerology kind of was gonna be biting me in the butt. 2015, my grandma died. She was a massive influence on me with my sports stuff and all that. Like, I always had hockey cards and like baseball and football previews at her magazines at her house, and would always read them and do stats and all that stuff. And then 2020, my dad died. So the fact of the matter is that it's just like horrific and all that. And 2025, like Eric passing away, I guess you can kind of call it numerology or something. Hopefully that nobody in my family dies and all that. Like, if they say work family, then yeah, then that makes a whole lot of freaking sense. But of course, it's just not right. I never got to point out that I'm wearing the Blue Jays pullover, my favorite Blue Jays shirt. I know I own a like light Blue Jays shirt and a Jose Batista one that my former owner gifted me. But it's a Blue Jays thing. And on Cutter Historical, I will be doing a Blue Jays style thing. I will be doing like a Blue Jays style PC replay baseball for my laptop. Like, I'll be doing a Blue Jays thing, and I'll do like eight Blue Jays teams in action against each other, or do 4 matches. I won't do the full matches, like the 4 of them. I'll just do first time through the order, and then it will be like, go to the 7th inning and all that. More will be explained later. And of course, with Eric and all that, I will be dedicating my NCAA football tournament to him, which I will start taping tomorrow morning. And, it'll be in dedication of him. Of course, there's no word on funeral or visitation stuff and all that. And word will filter through the Canadian Tire 674 family a lot and all that. I do keep in touch with some of them through Facebook, but I don't really have Instagram. And I'm like, I'm a 40-year-old guy. Like, 40-year-old. Does a 40-year-old need Instagram, really? I don't think so. But yeah, I'm a Facebook guy. But the fact of the matter is that it's just been rough and all that. I know some people, some Facebook friends of mine have commented and applauded me for my tribute to him. So as soon as I get a lot of Eric Markin stuff about him, I will share it within a certain degree, because I don't want to overshare or undershare. Like, I don't want to share it. I just do. Yeah, like, and not to make this a positive death, but I'm glad in a sense it happened. Like, it happened Thursday night, on a Thursday night, and then Friday I work, and then, the work family grieves together with the mainstays, the Monday to Friday people, the weekday people. And then, Saturday, Sunday, and holiday Monday, like Labor Day comes in. You're like the people who don't work the weekends, like yours truly, like, and Labor Day, you get an extra day of grieving, and then you can freaking grieve, and you don't have to show it in front of customers and all that. You could just grieve on your own possibilities and all that. So, like I said, I will make sure everyone knows about stuff, and I will be happy to give information within reason, of course. I don't want to overshare or cause a lot of friction and all that bogus stuff. So yeah, like, I will freaking have like an Eric Markin tribute and all that. He was big into fantasy hockey and all that, and would always share fantasy hockey stuff. And I would share my fantasy hockey stuff with him. He would come into work. Well, he started at 8:00, like yours truly. And, we would talk sports, and then he would talk to me about my Montreal Alouettes, the Toronto Blue Jays, the Toronto Maple Leafs. We didn't really talk basketball, but, he's just going to be missed so much. And, like, I'm partially struggling to find the right words, because I'm not that great at being a wordsmith and all that. But I do know he's in a place where he belongs. And to be fair, like, it's a big crater-sized hole at CT674, because you don't understand how great he was with customers, how great he was getting stuff for customers, like doing the carryouts, doing the big carryouts. And, sometimes I would have to help him, but, and all that, becoming rock star and all that. And, he worked on the wave. He top cap stuff and all that. So this is genuine emotion. This is not for show. This is genuine emotion I'm showing right now. Like you'll see probably the cheers, cutter, the tears down my cheeks and all that. But yeah, like I've got to be strong for these people and all that. And funeral visitation and all that. I'm hoping that I'll be able to go to both and be allowed to go. I'm sure I will, because I'm a big piece of the puzzle, and I'm representing the receiving guys. I know that Alan and Zach are not as grieving as yours truly, but I'm sure they are. So and I want to end this note. I've kept this on my coffee table for my ever since I got it on my 40th birthday and all that. Like all that. I hate the light. But right there, down at the bottom right, still sporty at 40, store MVP. And that's Eric. No, Eric, I'm not store MVP. You are. You were the lifeblood of 674 for 11 years. Well, of course, I've been working with him for 5 years and all that. But, keep rocking on, man. And as the great Jim Ross said about Owen Hart, I say this to end the stream. Crap. All I could say about Eric Workin is that I hope one day, someday, I will be able to see him. I could be as good as a man as Eric, so I could see him again someday. Thank you for watching. It's Cutter Historical. Sayonara.